guys, sitting here in the Land Rover on my way home from Nürburgring. We've had some fantastic day at the Scuderia Hanseat driver training. There you go. If you haven't been, make sure to join us at some time. You're more than happy to give me a call. I'm one of the coaches and would be happy to share some information with you if you're curious about that. On the trailer back there is the 996 GT3, the Capified. It's been living for the season down in Adenauer in the garage. But the main thing was to share with you some of my thoughts about the new 992 GT3 that I took delivery of earlier this summer. In short, I really love my new 992 GT3. It looks fantastic, not in the least. I had the opportunity to source some seat inserts from P1 Design in the US. Thanks a lot, Kim, for all your help and your great service. But just like last year when I was driving the 718 GT4, it has also with the 992 taken a little bit of time to get acquainted with the new car and also how to understand how to drive the car. I was using the first 1500 kilometers of raking in the engine by going on mainly track days, limiting the revs to 5, 6, 7,000 revs. And driving the car on a track day where you short shift all the time is a really good thing, because you have time to reflect a little bit about what the car does and how your driver input affected the driving. Initially we did two things. First of all, we put on some Manthey brake pads to make sure that the still discs would keep up in a good way. I think there's been some challenges with the original pads. We also did a wheel alignment and to get the camber angles and toe and all of that at a reasonable level. The first 2-3 track days I went on smaller local tracks in Sweden, but I found that the car was much more unstable in the rear than I would have thought. And my initial thinking was that perhaps it has to do with all the front end grip that the car generates, and also in combination with my driving style, driving the older cars where you do a lot of trail braking. So perhaps I was transferring too much load to the front axle, and then the rear axle lost the grip. Basically, the car had an oversteer tendency, both entering the corners and coming out of the corners, in everything that was slow to medium speed corners. And it surprised me, because I didn't expect the car to be that, how should I say, lively. And once the car was broken in, I took the car to Porsche Club Sweden's main event in the summer, which is held at the island of Gotland. On a great and quite exotic racetrack, 6.5 kilometers long, called Gotland Ring. It's a track that combines both the more technical side, the old loop, and then now there's a new loop, the south loop, which is very fast and actually reminds you quite a lot about some of the section at the Nordschleife as well. At Gotland Ring, the car behaved basically like it did previously during the season. But the south loop at Gotland is very fast and reminds you actually quite a lot about some of the section at the Nordschleife. And on the south loop, the GT3 really came alive. After Gotland, it was evident that the wheel alignment that we've done, it was not optimal, in the sense that I had some very uneven wear on the rear tires. Fronts were fine, but the rear tires were basically, the cap twos were basically worn all the way into the inner thirds of the all the way down to the thread of the tire. After Gotland, I had already decided to bring the 992 to the Nordschleife for the Scuderia Hanseat event. My plan was to be driving the 996 for the section training and also for the final test, but to use the 992 for all the free practice. The quality of the free practice at the Scuderia is really, really good. Not many cars and a very good code of conduct. So it was a good place to get to know the 992. And as I had decided to bring the 992 to the Scuderia Hanseat, I had booked a slot with Manthey to do their alignment. And as always, the guys at Manthey, they really know what they're doing when it comes to setting up cars for the Nordschleife, and of course a setting that would work on many other tracks, but especially for the Nordschleife. So you can immediately feel the difference, and I think that even after 2-3 laps you really feel very confident about driving the car. The turning in is less nervous, it's a bit more calm coming into the corners. The rear end is absolutely stable. The car is calm when you drive it. It's very predictable, and that kind of setup together with the 992 platform, I must say I'm absolutely amazed about how the car performed. So a big thanks to the guys at the Manthey, Christian Eich and Michael Grassel, and the rest of the team. Fantastic job, well done. Before going out with the 992 on the Nordschleife, I had great respect for the speed that the 992 builds up, and something which is totally new to me. And I knew that it would take some getting used to be able to utilize it, and to get into the new rhythm that it would represent. And for some strange reason, the speed didn't feel as intimidating as I initially had thought. Of course, everything goes very quickly when you're traveling at the speeds that the 992 can do. Braking, steering, changing the gears, on the throttle, off the throttle. And after a couple of days now at the free practice, it feels like me and the GT3, the 992 GT3 has, gotten along quite well. And I still have to work a little bit out, the gear changing. Sometimes you're in a too high gear and sometimes you're in a too low gear, but it will sort itself out. I need to work, of course, quite a lot on the entry speed. I'm turning in a little bit too slow. Also need to work on my braking to utilize the braking much more than I do today, and also I think improving on the trail braking, but it will take some time, and I'm looking forward to do that. So the Nürburgring is really the home turf for the 992 GT3. It's just amazing to drive down there, and it shows its personality in a totally different way. If the car felt a little bit big and a little bit too competent for the shorter Swedish tracks, it really comes alive. The engine, the gearbox, how the suspension works, it gets very, very exciting regardless of what you do. There's a lot of things going on, but at the same time it is a very predictable platform. The car is very accessible. The 992 is basically one of the best cars I've ever driven when it comes to the accessibility to utilize the performance of the car, almost to the point where you feel that, is the car a little bit too fast? Is it a little bit too good? What would happen? Do I really understand the limits of the car and the limits of the grip? Am I overdoing it? Am I close to the limit of what the car can do? It doesn't feel like it. I know that the car can be driven much faster by the pros and the amateurs that are more talented and have more experience than I have, but you should have great respect for the speed that the car is building. Unless you are on top of your driving and that you know what you're doing, I would say that things can quickly change to a situation where you lose the control of the car just because of the sheer physics of it. And I really look forward to go back to Nürburgring to try to find some new pieces for the 992 puzzle, and to, as always, step by step try to understand the car in a better way and also improve momentum and pace. So stay tuned. I look forward to get back to you with a new report from the Nürburgring after the Manthey track day. So now, if you feel like it, you can join me for some onboard action in the 992.